have this project I'm trying to shoot in 2 days. Can you help me out? It was so nerve-wracking, y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm just like reliving the moment. It was crazy. What, the girl from Proud Family? She said, hands up, cash out. That's the type of time I was on. And she was like, I don't think that this is the best idea. I don't know how successful it's gonna be. Oh, and stream Bermuda, okay? Run up those residuals so I can get me a Chick-fil-A sandwich or whatever Chris Brown said. Hey, it's Jazz. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, then what up? And if you're not, then welcome back. I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I create content surrounding faith, film, fitness, and all that jazz. Today, I'm super excited. One, because I just had a really good cup of coffee. So, I'm up, I'm amped. Secondly, because as you can probably tell by the title, I'm here to talk about my first film. Today is the premiere day where my debut film, Bermuda, streams on Fox. So it'll stream on Fox via Fox Soul Network. Fox Soul is a part of Fox's brand that specifically caters to Black content. So in honor of premiere day, this will actually mark my first film related video. So if you're ready to hear about how I took my little old script idea from a $0 budget all the way to how it ended up on a major streaming network, then tune in for this quick little story time about my first film, Bermuda. So first things first, before transitioning into film, I came from the world of sports. So I was a basketball player throughout college. I went to play a little bit overseas, and then that's when I transitioned into film and fitness. I can probably make a separate video about the actual transition another time because I think that's a whole story in itself, but I don't have time to talk about all that right now. But to explain and to demonstrate how little I knew about film and how little experience I had in the industry at the time. When I wrote this, the first time it actually started off in web series form. So I believe there was maybe like anywhere from 4 to 6 episodes. And I knew that I wanted to make it as a complete web series, something similar to The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl by Issa Rae, something to get my idea out, something to basically introduce myself into the world of film. But I knew that with it being a web series, it would take a lot of work, it would take a lot of money, it would take a lot of man and woman power. And I didn't have any of that. So what I did was condense it down to a 2-minute teaser. And the idea was create a 2-minute teaser, show people what I'm working with, and use that to then start a crowdfunding campaign. If you don't know what crowdfunding means, it's essentially putting together a campaign to ask for money. Let's keep it a bean. Like, I'm asking. Hand out. What, the girl from Proud Family? She said, hands up, cash out. That's the type of time I was on. I had seen crowdfunding campaigns be successful for other filmmakers, so I figured I would give it a shot. I know I don't have the money. I don't know anyone else who has the money. No big studios or anything even know that I exist. So there's no way that someone's going to just hand me money to make a web series, have them donate to the project so that I can make a bigger version. So through networking and through people I had met through church and on set and at a coffee shop and just literally random people on Facebook and Instagram, I had put together a small but mighty team. I guess they wasn't that mighty. I thought they was mighty, but spoiler alert, they wasn't that mighty. And you're about to find out why in a couple seconds. I put together this team and it was a skeleton crew, but it was basically everything we needed. Camera, sound, locations, producer, whatever the case. I didn't know. I just tried to get as many people as I can get to put it together. We had a shooting date. We had location set. We had everything, the script, boom. And on, I would say like 3 days before we were about to shoot, radio silence. I was ghosted. No one was answering my calls. No one was texting me back. No one was responding to emails. It was like everyone who told me that they believed in my idea and that they were so excited and they were so this and happy. He just like left me on red. Except the sound guy. Shout out to Chef Lonray. You know who he is. Shout out to the sound guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Then basically the project went from all of this momentum to then having zero. No matter how hard I pushed or tried, it didn't matter even if I had the script, as you know, or maybe don't know. As a filmmaker, it doesn't matter if I write a great script, if there's no one to shoot it, if there's no one to act in it, if there's no one to find locations, if there's no one to produce it, then it doesn't matter how good the script is. It's just a script. So from there, obviously you can tell I was like pissed. And then I felt super called to go on a fast from social media. What this means is just that I took a break from social media. I actually have another what is this cramp that I'm getting in my butt? What the heck?
What the heliante? What the helion? What the heli berry?
So I actually have a separate video on my journey with fasting and my experience with the Daniel's fast this year. That should be on my page now. I really hope that it's up by the time I post this video. If you do want to hear more about what fasting is and my experience with fasting, then please check that out. I will also link that in the description box below. In this particular case, I fasted specifically from social media. But I will say there was some resistance. I felt like God was telling me, like, just get off social media. Don't talk to nobody. Don't talk about it. Don't say nothing. Don't complain. Nothing. I got nervous because at the time I was freelancing and didn't have a job or anything. So I'm like, social media is how I get my jobs. Social media is how I hear about different opportunities. Social media is how I'm supposed to connect with people. Like, what if I find a camera guy last minute that I can hit up? What if I find a lighting woman or a gaffer and I can hit her up and be like, hey sis, I have this project I'm trying to shoot in 2 days. Can you help me out? So I'm like, how am I supposed to utilize these resources if you're telling me, you being God, if you're telling me to get off of social media? It didn't make any sense to me at the time, but I felt really, really strongly like, get off social media. And I was really scared because I felt like that was my main source of how I was going to connect with folks and just like continue on this path, on this journey, and more specifically, try to figure out what to do with this film. But again, I felt like I was like, you don't need to get off of it. So I was off of social media. I want to say maybe 3 days into my fast, I had a friend send me this flyer and she was like, hey, I think you should apply for this. I saw it on social media. I figured I would send it to your phone and I feel like you should apply to it. What was the flyer? The flyer was for a pitch competition. It was a 90-second pitch competition. If you had an idea for a short film, you pitch it in front of a panel of judges, and the judges will decide whoever wins. Ultimately, the winner has their film picked up by the production company and fully financed to be a professional level film. Spoiler alert, I won. So I was like, I don't have a short film. What I have is a 6-episode web series, but absolutely in the 2 days that this application is due, I will rewrite it, recraft it, reorient it, do whatever I need to do to submit just so I can at least have a chance. So that's what I did. I submitted and I ended up getting selected as one of the participants to compete in the pitch competition. Fast forward to the time of the actual competition. Competition day was here. Again, like I said, it was a 90-second pitch competition, which meant that you had 1 minute and 30 seconds to pitch your full film idea, tell the judges why you think that your idea was important, what the idea was about, and why you think that they should pay for it. And like I said, this was a live competition, which meant not only did we have a panel of 8 judges, 8 industry professionals that were sitting there looking at you as you were pitching, but you had to pitch in front of your competition. So I competed against, I want to say like 10 other writers, and the entire time you had like 10 writers just sitting there watching you. Everyone had to watch everyone go. It was so, child, was one of the hardest things that I've done. It was so hard. It was so scary. On the day of the pitch, while we were preparing to go, we probably had about 30 minutes or so to prepare before the actual competition. And they handed out note cards and they were like, hey, if you want to write down notes, bullet points, something to help you as you go, like we're not against having visual aids to help you as you pitch. So they started passing them out. Everyone was able to go kind of like in a separate corner, you know, in their own space and practice and rehearse. I think it maybe had been a week since I had got selected as one of the participants up until the actual day of the competition. And I got nervous because that entire week, I rehearsed that thing like crazy in my head and I memorized it. So when they gave us note cards, I was like, should I have note cards? I don't think I need them. My first thought was like, you don't need them. You've been rehearsing without it. I didn't want the note cards to then trip me up, make me rely on them when I didn't need them, and just have me like in my head. So I left it alone at first, but then I looked around and I started seeing everyone, every single other competitor had note cards. They were writing down notes and they were using it. And I said, I said, should I be using note card? You know? So I went back and forth about it for a little bit. And then once the 30 minutes was up, I just decided I don't need them. Just forget it. That's not how you practice before you got here. Don't let, other folks intimidate you into changing your process. So when the time came, everyone went, I did my thing, I pitched, and it ended up I ended up being exactly 90 seconds. So I remember they had this big clock and it literally was counting down. It was so nerve-wracking, y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm just like reliving the moment. It was crazy. After the competition, the judges went down to a different floor and they had a whole deliberation process. Y'all, when I tell you the deliberation took 2 hours, 2 hours. I was distraught. I didn't eat. I was so hungry. My stomach was hurting. I was hangry. But then beside that, the nerves were nerving, y'all. So after 2 long, dreadful hours, and mind you, while we were waiting, all the participants had to wait together. So we're in this big room. Everyone who just competed against each other is like standing in the same room, looking at each other. Everyone's all nervous. Then the judges finally came back up and they, sat in their seats and they're all like, we have a decision. They announced the top 3. They said one person's name as the 3rd place winner, second person's name as the 2nd place winner or runner up. And then they said my name as the winner. I was so excited. I remember doubling over on the table and like falling out, and I think I cried. Or was about to. I remember speaking to one of the judges afterwards, and we were all giving each other congratulations to all the contestants and the judges. We were talking. Everyone was like, "Oh, great job! You did this, you did this." And I remember going like, "Man, like you guys took a long time." What was it? Were some people on board and some people off? Was it like a split decision? What was going on? Like, how did you come up with the person who ultimately won the competition? And she looked me in my eye. She said, "Oh, girl, the deliberation time had nothing to do with you. We were deliberating over who would win 2nd place. Your vote was unanimous." And y'all, I'm just thinking back to the time of like, I was going through it in that 2-hour period, and to know in retrospect, the entire time my name was already stamped. I already had the stamp of approval. I had already won. My name was already at the top. What they were deliberating on was who would come after me. And that's when I said, oh, I know this is God. Oh, I know this is God. It was just, what a sweet moment, man. She said unanimous, period. So anyway, it was over. It was done. The competition was done, and it was decided that I was going to finally have my film made. I was so excited. And I remember talking to a friend who is a fellow actress, and she was really excited for me. I was on the phone. We were talking about it. And then she was like, okay, so who's going to act? Mind you, so this is my first film in any capacity. She's an established actress at this point. And I remember when I told her that I wanted to act in it, she was like y'all. You can hear a pin drop. The tone of her voice completely changed. The idea was initially, after winning the competition, that since I wrote it, I would have the option to direct it if I want, or I could find another director. Because the story was so close to home, and because the characters in it were Nigerian, the characters in it had a specific culture, a specific heritage. They were from Chicago. There were just specific things about the characters that I felt I wanted to be as authentic as possible. I wanted to put myself in it, and I wanted to try my hand at acting, and I wanted to make sure that the story was being told properly. And then secondly, I figured it would be a cool marketing tool, similar into the way that Issa Rae put herself in Awkward Black Girl. Now, I know when she first did it, her intention wasn't that. But as time goes on, every time you hear Awkward Black Girl, every time you hear Insecure, you automatically think of Issa because you have her name and her face attached to the same project. And for me, as someone who the industry did not know, I had no credits, I had no connections in Hollywood, I wanted something that would be my debut and my introduction into the industry to connect my name and my face to the project. And when I told her, she was like, oh, you've never acted before. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I think, and I explained all the things that I already said. And she was like, you're not an actress. You've never acted before. I don't think that this is the best idea. It's not smart. I don't know how successful it's going to be if you end up doing it that way. And that really hurt my feelings because at the time, again, she was one of the only few people that I actually knew in the industry. She's an established actress. I really valued her opinion. And it was sad to be kind of like met with like you're gonna do it, you're not an actress. And it really kind of almost gave like, I am an actress. I trained for this. I went to, I'm a theater actress. I went to school for this. I teach classes and workshops, and you just came off the street, and you used to be a basketball player. You just came off the street, wrote something, pitched this thing to the competition, won the competition. Now you're getting it made professionally, and you think you could just come over here and act in it? Like, no. It really hurt my feelings. I wonder what she's doing now. Anyway, it's finally time for production, and unfortunately we ended up getting delayed by a year because of COVID. So the cool thing was I was able to cast my mom to play my mom in the film. So it was really cool because my mom had always, when she was younger, had aspirations of being on TV, being like a news anchor, being an actress, all these things. She used to model and all these things in Nigeria. And so it was really cool to be able to give her this opportunity to see herself on screen and to be able to share the screen with her. Like, for me being her daughter and her being the mom on screen, it was really cool. Yeah, that's my mommy. She's so cute. She's so cute, y'all. If y'all watch the film, you'll see she's so cute. We ultimately ended up making the film. It was such a great experience. I would not take it back for anything in the world. So it's been out for about 2.5 years now. Since its release in 2022, we've got selected into over 14 film festivals. We've won awards. We've screened both domestically and internationally. We've earned 3 independent streaming deals. And now, as of today, drum roll please, we are about to be on a major streaming network on Fox Soul. Thank you, Jesus. Hey guys. Okay, so really quick, I kind of wanted to give a little bit more detail into how the film went from just being out in the world and then actually ending up on the streaming services, both independently and the one on Fox. I realized I didn't give too much detail, so this is me. I'm gonna like boil it down to 30 seconds. So basically, after we submitted it to film festivals, it got a lot of buzz, but nothing really happened from there. And so what we did was, we, meaning myself and the producers, we submitted it to independent streaming services, also to streaming services who had audiences that we felt would enjoy the project. A lot of this included just like sending emails, cold calling, networking across, and figuring out who we could chat to. From there, Fox saw the project on another independent streaming service and then offered to have it on their platform as well. That's like the main detail that I think I missed in the actual video. So okay. Needless to say, it all worked out. And yeah, man, God is so good. So here are 3 major things that I learned from this experience, things that I hope can encourage you. Number 1, think big. I had literally nothing. I had a $0 budget. I had a skeleton crew of folks who were willing to, well, at the time they were willing, volunteer their services. I had no food to give them. I had no money to give them. I had no knowledge of how to even make the thing, but I had a big idea and I wanted to get that idea out. Just remember that what you see is not all there is to see. I didn't see anything that had to do with the pitch competition. I didn't see and even consider that a company would want to take my film on and make it themselves and finance the full thing. I was thinking too small. I felt so crazy at first for like writing this thing that I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to get it made. But I obeyed the voice of God that was telling me, just write the thing. I'll figure out how to make it. Don't worry about how to make it. That's on me. God turned my little 2-minute teaser that I was going to shoot guerrilla style into a fully funded professional film. Stop thinking so small. Think big. 2, what's yours is yours. I know this might sound cliche and people say it all the time. And sometimes I even get sick of hearing it, especially when I'm in a season where maybe things aren't going my way, or if I miss out on an opportunity that I really want. But the truth is, what's yours is yours. You just have to be obedient. When God told me to fast from social media, I was very anti. I did not want to do it. I said, I'm going to miss out on opportunities. The people that I need to network with, the people that I need to reach out to are on social media. How am I going to go absent from social media and think that I'm going to propel my career? But my friend saw the flyer and she sent it to me to my phone. I didn't have to go out searching for it. I didn't have to research competitions. I didn't even know that those competitions existed. Someone else saw it on my behalf and sent it to me. So the opportunity found its way to me regardless. And it was because I was obedient. It was mine before I even knew the opportunity existed, period. And number 3, kind of similar to number 1, if I'm being honest, but I just cannot stress enough. God's plans are always going to be bigger than ours. Think big and God will triple it. Even this script, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I cringe when I watch it because I'm like, I wrote that like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm such a different writer now. I'm such a better writer. It was my first project. It was my first thing that I've ever acted in as well. So I know that there are so many ways that I can improve as an actor. And I have improved since then. So many ways that I've improved as a writer since then. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But it's crazy because it's my most successful project so far. And it's because it was a God thing. When I sent them the news about getting this deal with Fox, one of the producers was like, dang, Bermuda is just the film that keeps on giving. And I was like, you're right, because we filmed it a couple years ago, but I keep coming back to them with news like, hey, Bermuda just got placed on this platform. Hey, we just cashed out with this. Hey, we just got selected for this. Hey, this person is trying to offer us this to do this. And it's just crazy because even though I'm like, it's not my best work. Oh, I'm a perfectionist. Nah, I'm just a girl. God is like, it doesn't matter. It's a project that honors me. The subject matter honors me. I told you to write it. You were obedient, and I am going to do what I want with it. I could not have gotten the streaming deal with Fox on my own. I could not have made the project fully funded, picked up by a production company on my own. That was literally all God. So start with an idea, even if it feels small, and God will triple it. Okay, that's pretty much all I have for this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that it encouraged and inspired you to just make your stuff, get the content out there, make the film, write the project, write the book, start the business, whatever the case, do it. Especially if it's a God idea, He will fund it, okay? I can't wait to share more about my creative endeavors. I have, so many other projects in the works, and I'm really excited about them. And yeah, in the meantime, write the thing, make the thing, do the thing. Dream big, and God will fund it. Oh, and stream Bermuda, okay? Run up those residuals so I can get me a Chick-fil-A sandwich or whatever Chris Brown said. Who's getting all of my residuals? Okay, see you in my next video. Bye.